This is Kali Ma. We're at the Anand Ashram, the haven for spiritual travellers on the island of the gods, Bali. And I've been having a conversation with Anand Krishna, or Swami Anand Krishna, about meditation 24/7, how to lead a life in a meditative space, not walking around with your hands in prayer and your eyes closed, but just being more contemplative and conscious in your everyday life. So here we go with Swami Anand.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thank you. This is part five of our
yes.
conversation. The last conversation we left off talking about how words had energy and how the energy of our words or the language we speak never really dissipates. It's like echoing through the universe somewhere at some time. So maybe we could go deeper into that.
Sure. Yeah, like in Sanskrit, I have to keep on referring to Sanskrit because Sanskrit, as I was telling, I think in the show also, that it is not a spoken language actually. It was a language, a program language. That's why Sanskrit, the meaning Sanskrit is customized or programmed. So it was a language made for the purpose of what we call Devavani, to connect with gods. Now here the meaning of gods is not just celestial beings, but the higher energies, the higher frequencies. So everything is collectively called gods. And each of the frequency has got its name. They have given name, and sometimes we express them as a being, as celestial beings, but actually these are name of each frequency.
Oh, I see.
And also they found out, I think there's a man, an American from American Institute of Sanskrit in USA. He did a lot of research and he went to the files of NASA and all that, So when we speak Sanskrit, each and every letter of Sanskrit language, it is connected to some part of our brain. So when you speak like K or K, any letter from Sanskrit language, it stimulates certain part of your brain. So and it is also using each and every part of your mouth.
Wow, that's so interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. So when you use that language, because once you're using your mouth and in totality, your brain is stimulated, and once brain is stimulated, the whole body is stimulated. So actually Sanskrit, if we learn to at least recite mantras, you don't have to learn language actually. Just few of the basic mantras. They like Gayatri is called.
But it is nice to know what you're reciting, isn't it? What the words mean as well.
Sure, like Gayatri.
Yes, it's beautiful meaning.
Yeah. And Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, Bhur Bhuva Swaha and Om, these are like password. They have no meaning actually. We try to give some meaning, we try to find out some meaning, and of course the meaning can be very lengthy or very short depending on how you look at it.
So they're passwords to the divine.
To the divine, to access the higher energies. So actually you are accessing, Bhu is accessing certain layers of consciousness, and Bhuha another layer, and Suha another layer, until you reach that higher state.
And when you said that the different vibrations actually have different aspects in deities, etc. So what would say Bhu? What would the deity for Bhu be?
Yeah, it is...
or is it a collective amount of words together?
It is collective. So it is... Bhu is again divided into Bhu, Bhuva, Suha, and then they have got... Suha actually is divided into 4 more state of beings, like it is called Jana, Maha, Tapa, and Satyam. So all these 7 layers altogether, actually, Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, and Jana, Maha, Tapa, Satyam, all these 7 layers are connecting with certain frequencies. Like Swaha is very complicated one, because Swaha you are going out of this gravity. With Bhu and Bhuva you are actually within this gravity still. Bhu is definitely earthly gravity, and then Bhuva you are going in between, before the celestial vibration or frequency, but not really earthly also, in between. But once you reach Swa, then first of all you access your ancestors, the dead ancestors, those who are passed away. So
that love you unconditionally.
Right. And sometimes it is very interesting to know that sometimes they may have reincarnated, but they may have left some footprints. They may have left certain messages. You know, they do this thing. So once you reach the state of jhana, maybe you are accessing sayings of your grandfather or grandmother or somebody who has passed away many years ago. And you may have this thought that, oh, I'm meeting my grandfather. Actually, no, he's just left a message for you.
Well, that's very strange because
when
when I was very young,
yeah.
before I had children or anything,
yeah.
I got to this point in my life when I was with my meditation that I felt I was going crazy because I could just hear so many people talking to me.
Yeah.
And it was like all the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to tell anyone that. I could hardly hear a mortal being talking to me because so many... Anyway, I met this really interesting, really eccentric old psychic, and I talked about her to her, and I told her, I got some of the names, and she said, well, that's just your ancestors. They've been waiting to get through, and all of a sudden you've tapped this, and all your ancestors can get through to you. And I didn't know anything about my ancestors because I'm Dutch, and my father would never speak about anything. So I asked him, and it was their names.
Yeah.
And it must have just reached a certain... And then once I got that, then the party sort of stopped a bit and it was quieter, you know.
It's kind of mathematics. It's a whole science.
It's really scientific, isn't it?
So once we are so-called dead, we actually can foresee that in my lineage, in my family, with this kind of DNA, 2 generations later or 3 generations later, we may have someone who is evolving spiritually, and let us leave some messages for them.
I think the DNA are sort of transmitters to pick up the frequencies within them. Yeah.
Exactly. DNA is actually made by us.
Yes.
So actually you can reprogram and recondition them.
Of course.
It's from our ancestors, yes, but we actually make our own DNA, so our mind is at work already before...
and they've done that research now that they've found that mothers... in their DNA have the imprint of their children. True. And that's really incredible, isn't it?
Yeah,
so that, you know, when they say to mothers shouldn't worry about their children,
yes.
it's almost a mother, unless she's really conscious of it, can't stop worrying about her kids even when they're 60 or 70.
You're right.
Because she's...
connected.
Their DNA is... You think it'd be the other way around, that they'd have that transmitter in their DNA, the children, but the mother carries it still.
Yes. It's connected. It's always connected. So sometimes your child can be anywhere, and the father cannot feel anything, but the mother can feel.
Oh, yes, you know,
whatever
everything.
happens to the son or daughter, she feels it.
Yes, that's amazing. So this is such a science. So I'm really still interested to know what deities go with what vibrations.
Yeah, there are deities like Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, all these deities are there, and like Bu is connected to creativity, you know, the first 1 or 2 chakras and the third, fourth chakra. So first of all, we are getting into these kind of deities, you know. And at the end of the sojourn, after Swa, there you need sort of masters. Now these masters can be people with body. They still have body. You meet them in physical life. But there can be without body.
Ascended masters.
Yeah, ascended masters. So there you need that guidance, because there you are actually, you have used all your savings. Now you need some more deposits.
Credit's gone.
Some more credit,
Like my phone here.
Right. It's. I think whatever we are doing here, it's just the projection of what is happening there.
You know, and people say, "Oh, there's just such a lot of rot, and they can't make sense of things." I always say to them, you know, I'm sure an ant really can't understand your brain either.
I would like to share this with you. I was mentioning in one of the episodes about having these messages from my friend, a doctor friend, and he disclosed to me, and I'm doing a lot of research, and finally last night I found the references to it, and he was mentioning why you have been attacked. So he says that the first thing, we of course knew that it was 5,000 people coming every fortnight for peace campaign. That must have alarmed some people who thought that we were into something else, you know. But he gave me the reason for that. He gave me the explanation for that, you know, that what was happening, 5,000 people collecting in one place, it increases the electromagnetic field.
Of course it does.
And it can be read by satellite. The satellite can see it.
Yes.
Now, If it is just 5,000 people in some stadium and they are watching a football or a cricket, the increase in electromagnetic is just by 5,000. So they can find out, okay, there are 5,000 people there, and we are expecting the electromagnetic field to increase by so many %. But if you are meditating or you are in a meditative mood, not even meditating, but meditative mood, then this can increase by 10-fold, 15-fold.
Wow.
And
that's what the heart math people have proved, haven't they?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Heart math people and somebody else I was reading about, he was a singer and now he is into this kind. So last night I was doing research and my God, the message I got from my friend was exactly the same.
Yes.
And this is what is happening. I mean, they can detect it with.
So I wonder. I mean, there's so much going on now about there's no polarity in spirituality, and all these things are often just people's ideas, aren't they? But I wonder if you increase the vibration tenfold of 5,000 people.
Yeah.
That's I don't like to say one's positive or one's negative because you don't know how much service this negative energy, we're calling negative, but no other word, is actually doing on this plane.
Right.
Maybe it's actually increasing your light and your brilliance and your strength and your courage and your disciples' foundation in the light. So if you do something that increases the light by that much, maybe equivalently, the dark increases on the opposite side, or what do you think? Do you think that could be true?
It is true, but my research tells me that the increase in the dark side will not be that much as the increase in the light side because you're lighter.
Yeah, of course,
you're lighter, and dark is more dense.
Well, maybe one drops down and one lifts up.
So
or
it
something.
is dense, And the thing is to see this. Actually, what is bothering a lot of people about this evolution, spiritual evolution, because people who are evolved, they become fearless.
Yes.
You cannot govern them. This is what I found out yesterday from my research.
Yes.
That's the reason. And that's alarming for them. You cannot govern anybody. And there'll be communities, like in Australia, I was having a Franciscan brother and he came and he was sharing his experience. This is happening everywhere. You have your small communities with 20 families, 25 families, and the use of money is minimum, bare minimum, just to buy something which you cannot produce in your community. So you're not depending on outside sources. And this is bothering.
Yes, that's incredible. This research that you've done, it's almost like we're slow learners, isn't it?
What is that?
The research that you've done is like we're slow learners because this information is so ancient.
So ancient, yes.
And I wonder, I mean, it obviously was never put here by man in the first place.
Yes. But the thing is like this is something that I cannot really explain in a convincing manner. How did they find out about the first sounds like how did they find out?
And then we find out, we were amazed because it makes that yantra.
Yes.
When you do cybernetics.
And also the sound of sun. NASA has found out. It's on YouTube. You can literally hear the sound of Om. The sound of sun is Om. Yeah,
and the sound of the earth.
Yes.
Have you heard the sound of the earth too? It's like the heartbeat.
Right.
It's amazing.
Heartbeat, yes. Also like birds chirping and so it's more on the love side.
Like last night, did you hear the difference when I played the gong?
Yes, I did.
How the frogs, and I was going, I wanted to stop and just listen to the frogs. They all respond. Everything responds to it. Yeah.
But gong is just it was your extension, Kalima. Actually, it was your energy. Gong, I'm sure if somebody else was playing it without that kind of emotion and passion, the effect won't be same. So it was your extension.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. Yeah. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I was wondering, like the Sanskrit written language is a thing of absolute beauty too, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So that's like sacred geometry as well, isn't it?
Right.
Because it reappears, if it can reappear when you make a sound. Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the written language too?
Yeah, the written language is actually, it's a complete, full-fledged language. They have got a grammar, and it's a little bit complicated also. But it's a very simple language, actually. And because of its simplicity, it can be transferred into computers without using any other language, any other computer language. So it can be literally used in computers as it is, because of its simplicity. And therefore, the only problem is sometimes when you want to translate a word, and that can take one word can take 1 or 2 sentences to translate the literal meaning of that. So that becomes...
And then you still wouldn't know if it was the literal meaning, would you?
You know, like the word Atma. We've been using the word Atma. How do you translate it? Is it self as translated? Maybe it is not, because when you read the references to Atma, it can be so wide, so broad, Atma can be God. So Atma can be your individual soul. Atma can be anything.
Yeah. So we'll go back again then to how, if you make chant or even say you're cussing and swearing, how that vibration can continue forever.
Right.
With my work, I had lots of information come through about negative. It was called negative earth energies, or that energies collect in certain places and are like a smog. Like you say, the dense, heavy energy. Can you imagine what happened at the time of Hitler?
Yes.
So, using vibration and light or the sound, we can disperse those energies.
Yes, you can disperse those energies, and even by setting up places like this, your own home. It doesn't have to be a public place like ashram or something. Your own home. If you turn it into what we were discussing was sacred space, if we turn a part of our home as a sacred space, actually we are connecting with other homes like that.
Yes, making a network.
Exactly. So we are actually making a network, yes.
Well, also, there's a lot... I was talking actually at dinner the other night. Something that sort of disgusts me a little bit is, I don't know what you call it, this new form of tourism where they go to things like maybe the killing fields.
Right.
Not to disperse the energy or to uplift, just sort of must to look at things, like... it seems to me a strange thing, but that's probably really judgmental. Everyone must have their different reasons. Maybe if they're going to pay respect to their ancestors, but just to look at where carnage has happened, it seems strange. Yes. But there's a lot now of people going to sacred spaces, the pyramids, and travelling to all these sacred spaces. But in fact, people don't really need to. If you could sit, you can. If the vibration. That you put out, you trust that the conscious energy, the divine energy within it, knows exactly where where it's going to go to, where it's needed.
Yes, this is it's funny because these things are forgotten now. Like in the Sanskrit language, when you want to do certain rituals, you have to have the waters from 3 holy rivers: Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. Sometimes from 7 holy rivers, and all these rivers are in India. Some of them are not even existing. No more. They're extinct. They're no more. Those rivers are no more there. They change their course. So in Sanskrit, thousands of years back, they have a mantra: just take any water and you turn it into the water of Ganges.
Well,
so
in
you
fact,
don't have to go to Ganges.
They say that every drop of water that's on the earth has been here forever. So it's probably flowed through every human being and every river anyway.
Right. And ocean, sea is called Sindhu. That's the highest river. In the ranking of river, there's the highest. There's in the highest hierarchy. So actually, wherever there's sea is everywhere. Ocean is everywhere, and that connects us all.
And the ocean of consciousness as well. I'd like to learn that chart for the water. That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, I don't remember it, but I'll try to find out.
Maybe we'll put it on that. We put it on that episode 17 or something.
Yeah. But actually, once again, yes, to do it in Sanskrit, I feel it is more what do you call it? More not beneficial, but more, I don't know what more something. But actually, it is the intention. Actually, the intention.
Now, like with a lot of people who have raised their vibration. Doing the language of light, chanting. Yes. When you listen actually to someone chanting the language of light, and the words are just coming through from wherever.
Right.
It has a very similar vibration, doesn't it? Yes. So maybe that's like the new Sanskrit, or maybe it's Sanskrit
Right.
revised or something. Who
Revised, yeah,
knows what's
yeah.
happening?
Because everybody finally, at the end of the day, you actually speak your own language.
Yes.
When you want to converse with that, the supreme one, supreme being, or whatever, you actually have to converse in your language, in your own language. So in Sanskrit, it's just a tool. Up to a certain extent, yeah, you need it, or any other language, but after that, it's your own language, the language of silence.
Yes, silence.
Silence.
Yeah. We're back to silence again. And we've come to the end of our time. So now we need to have real silence for a
Right.
moment. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.